Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I can see somebody has joined. Good afternoon. This is Lara Johnson, and I'm just adding the participants and the speakers, sorry, to this. Hey, Valashe, Shatuen. Hi. Hi, everyone. So I've just added my speakers in today. Hopefully, they will be joining me shortly. We are going to be talking about Better Me. What is Better Me? Why are we doing Better Me? Hi, Ola Samson. Welcome. Hi, Tomiwa over here. One of the speakers has joined. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah. Oh, she's unable to join. What's happening here? So today, like I said, we're talking about Better Me. Why Better Me? Why do we talk about Better Me? Hello. Yeah, I have one of my speakers in here. So I'm going to try and add the others. I don't know what's happening. It keeps going in and out. Maybe they can just send me a request. If you're hearing me, just send me a request. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me so that I'm not talking. Good afternoon, good morning from everywhere that you are in. I am Lara Johnson, and today is going to be Coach Tomiwa, Tomiwa Oguntade Egbewomi. She's going to be joining us today. And I have Coach Chijioke as well. Hi, Accessorize with K. Hello, sis. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. It keeps saying that all my people cannot join. I don't know why. They are unable to join. But here, this is Lara Johnson. Today, we're going to be talking about a better me. When we talk about relationship, a better me will help the relationship to thrive. Hello. Where are my people? I'm so excited it's Friday because Fridays are the best days of the week for me. Trust me, one of the things I love to do on Fridays is just cook. Because Saturdays, weekends is just the time for me to relax. Okay, now I've sent another request to my people so that they can also join me. I've accepted them, but I can't see them on. Where are you, everybody? Where are you, everybody? Oh,
hello.
fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Good afternoon, fantastic. I don't know what's
Good
happening here. Yeah,
afternoon.
I'm still trying to get Tomiwa to join and
Okay.
Coach Chijioke. So in the meantime, hi, Noni of Kenya. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you on. So today we're going to be talking about Better Me. Hi, Consular. Thank you for joining. You know, we all know that most of the time we talk about relationship, we say, oh, what's happening in this world today? What is going on? What is going on? Yeah, what is going on? What is happening? Relationships are breaking up. People are complaining. They're talking about, how they're not happy in their relationship. And that's why we brought this together. Myself, Coach Lara, Coach Tomiwa, Coach Grace, and Coach Chijioke. We are all from the family systems engineering community, and then we are so happy to bring every one of you together so we can all sit down and talk about that thing that is affecting our relationship, that is causing a lot of divorces out there today. So It's not going to just be a conversation that you're just going to listen to. It's something that you're going to contribute to. And I am so excited to see a lot of people join. Now, while we're waiting for the others, we have Coach Grace here. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you all. Hi, Ibidun. Thank you for joining. Yes, can you okay, yes, I've taken the requests. Thank you, Tomiwa. Yes. Coach Grace, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm
Oh,
happy to
look who we have
have
here
you.
today.
Welcome to have
Good
Tomiwa, Tomiwa
afternoon.
as well.
This is so
Hello,
lovely to
hello,
see your
hello. Hope you
faces.
can hear me good.
Yes, we can, as far as I can.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
Hello,
okay.
hello everyone.
Good afternoon, ladies. Now,
Voice
it's
check, voice check.
yes, so yes, it's Friday, one of the
We're
happiest days of the week.
No,
I'm
you are not happier than me on Fridays.
I see what. Oh,
I have
hi.
friends who greet me that thank God you're happy it's Friday. They know I love
Oh,
Friday.
I always like to see somebody in this, in any of the life I do. I have someone here. Um, Arole, I call him official Arole. I don't know if you people know Arole in Nigeria. He's a wonderful, renowned
I know
Yeah.
evangelist. Oh, he has joined this program now. Every time I do live, he joins. I like, you know what I do? I
Oh,
always do something
fantastic.
to, I always make sure that he comes in 1 second. So I don't know. Let me check if he's available. I'll always make sure that he comes in because there is a way that Arole would, would charge the environment and you'd be like, yes, he's really a prophet. Absolutely. Now, while we're talking about a better me, it is something that each and every one of we've known for a long time that a lot of relationships are going through issues, and people are asking questions: what is happening? That we're talking about being a better and a perfect person. Now, today we're not going to take much of our time. We're going to just analyze it in the place of becoming self-aware and emotionally healthy and spiritually grounded, as well as being intentional in our relationship. While I'm going to introduce to you our speakers for today, I will also let them talk about who they are, and then we can take it on from there. Coach Grace, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. So good to meet new people and interact with other people alongside my sisters here because we're practically sisters now. My name is Grace, as Coach Lara has said. Um, I would call myself like a serial entrepreneur, but right from time I've always known I was drawn to women. I've been drawn to young persons, and so I started out as a caregiver for children. I wanted to do something different for children, so I've worked with children and youths for over a decade, and I've also worked with women. So working with children, I gravitated also because women has, families. I've always been interested in families. So I've worked with women, I've worked with families, and I run some organizations. One of them is Excelling Players for Great Kids, who that works with children. It's a play center, educational center, a creative space for children. And then I've also worked with women with Mama, that is specific to mothers and to expectant mothers. And also I run a ministry. It's called Harps and Bowls Ministry International. It's a prophetic ministry, worship. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. I teach, I train, I mentor, I disciple, and I love wholeness. So glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. That's a whole lot of thing that you do. And thank you so much for, helping the community in as much as you're also building up yourself. And then the next coach I will be asking to introduce herself is Coach Tomiwa Tom Tom. I love her so much. She's full of life.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, or wherever you may be joining from. I hope you're fine. Thank you for joining our quick chat. This is going to be a quick chat. And I didn't know that you would ask us to start doing these long presentations. Well, I'm Tomiwa Igbewumi. I call myself a character educator, meaning that I'm very particular about children being raised right and forming healthy characters that would eventually sustain them as they go into adolescence and adulthood. And so family is very key for me. That's a production unit for any society. If you want to see how good a society is, look at the family within that space. I'm also a business development executive and recently became a family life practitioner. And of course, I can see the trajectory. It's so important that we mold children right and then we are conscious towards them. I always say that everything that we are doing as individuals, whatever position you find yourself, has to be child-centered. And so my interest in having well-raised, balanced children is what has pushed me into the family space, because in my working with children behind things, I realized that there is no conditioning and molding that you can do for children that cannot be negated by superior environment. So because of that, I now have to expand my focus from the children themselves to the adults who are in their space, who influence their environment, because you can plant something good in a child, but if the child is constantly being reconditioned by something different, children are quite very impressionable, and then whatever they see is whatever they see is the modeling they follow, not what we say to them. I'm sure that many of us are familiar with that already. So yes, so I'm a character educator. That's so important for me, business development. I've won different arts in time past, but this is one of the places where we reel out our full bio. And of course, last year I authored my first book called Together, and it's written towards building healthy families and cultured children.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for telling us who you are and what you do personally. I'm sure you're making a lot of impact in the community. And thank you so much, Coach Chijioke. We know that you really, really, really tried for us today. God bless you. Without
Right.
listening, thank you, sir. Yeah, if you have anything to say, you can. Yeah, say it.
Oh yeah, so it's good to be here with every one of you on this IG live. Of course, we're here to share and just talk and just have conversations. So yeah, good to be here.
Thank you so much. And without wasting much of our time, so like I mentioned today, I said we were talking about a better me. And I'm going to go straight to the questions. Why better me? Why do we talk about this better me? What is the idea behind that title? And who is a better me? And this is something that we look at in the aspects of not just becoming a better person or a perfect person. When we're talking about becoming a more self-aware person, an intentional person. So coach, any of the coaches that want to answer that, why better me? What is the idea behind that title? If
Okay,
anybody wants to go first.
I'll go first. So we say why better me. We're getting a bit of feedback, so I don't know if we're getting a bit of background feedback. That's in fact
Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So why better me? Why not better me? First, we have to realize that being the best version of yourself serves you and benefits you first before any other person. I know that for the better part of this chat, the context of relationship and marriage will come into it. But for me, the way I see it is that before you can be of service to other persons and be a wholesome person in a relationship, you first have to give yourself the opportunity to grow to the full potentials possible if you decide to pursue it in life.
Mm.
And so you must, it's very important for you to evaluate yourself, take accountability to see the ideas that have formed who you are through various platforms of upbringing, peculiar experiences, your faith, religious doctrines, your environment, and see what has shaped you in the past and what is currently shaping your human interactions, decision making, and how you relate with other people. If you come to a realization that the best version of you actually gives you the opportunity to grow, to thrive, then you can start thinking of how what you hold dear to you, the way you see yourself begins to serve the other person that may eventually come into a relationship with you. So you say, look in the mirror, be a better person. It starts with that. When you say better me, people begin to look at it from the angle of that whatever advantage or benefit you have serve other people. No, it serves you first. So whether you are a single on this life today, currently here, or you would eventually join us, whether you are a single by choice or someone working towards relationship or marriage eventually, or you're already in a relationship or you're already married, it's your responsibility to ensure that the version of you that is going to serve in that role or whatever capacity or capability to find yourself is the best version possible. It is only then that you can now make a demand on your partner to be the best versions of themselves.
Absolutely love what you said. You know, the point I took was better you. When you said that better you gives you the opportunity to grow and to thrive. And of course, when you thrive and when you've grown, your relationship is going to be impacted positively. No, when I look at, when we talk about, better me from the perspective of the triangle of life, I will be saying to myself or to everybody listening to me that the questions I would like to ask, or the three elements that is shaped by this triangle of life, is what happens to us are like our experiences, and those things that we believe because of those experiences matter, and how we behave because of those beliefs actually also matters. So, for example, if someone, grew up constantly hearing that you're not good enough, they may develop the belief that I have to earn love. And this belief is going to make them become overly accommodating in their relationship, making also, making them to have this fear of rejection and inability to set boundaries in their relationship. But somebody who has also experienced betrayal may also, come to believe that people can never ever be trusted. And that belief can lead to suspicion. It can also lead to control and emotional distance when we talk about relationship. So now, what am I saying? A better me is somebody who has the courage to examine themselves, to say, okay, what shaped me to this point? What are the beliefs that I am carrying? Are those beliefs aligned with what I believe? And what are those beliefs or behavior that stems out of these beliefs? And until we answer those honestly, our relationship, unhealthy relationship, can always repeat itself. So in this conversation, the goal is not just about the behavior modification, it's about transformation. And that's why we talk about becoming a more self-aware person, an emotionally healthy person, and someone who is intentional when in the relationship. So this better me isn't just something you know, you wake up to. It's something that you make effort. As far as I
Yes.
know, you make effort. And you just, like when we talk about in Christianity, that faith is action. You don't just believe in the word, you carry that action. You are intentional. You make sure that even those beliefs, I understand that those beliefs are the one that has shaped you and I, but they are not the end. If it's not working, change them. You know, and the ability for you to be aware, self-awareness will help you to change your behavior and through these belief systems that you have. And then at the end of the day, you have a positive outcome. So from my own angle, that's what I believe is a better me. Coach Grace, do you have anything to say in relation to this?
Yes, I can add to that. I mean, we've hit the nail, we're hitting the nail on the head, really. So better me, it takes the attention of the other person and puts it on you. We live in a society, or well, it's human nature to always find the fault or the blame in the other person. Oh, this thing is not working because that person is like this, even outside romantic relationships, even with your colleagues at work, with the person you sit next to on the plane or in the bus, have we naturally want to put the blame of any issue on the other person. But when we say better me, we're saying take that lens off and put the focus on yourself. Why is this particular thing? Why is it rubbing off on you this way? Why are you feeling this way because of this or that? Some other persons may not feel that way. So we're saying take a look at yourself. Is there something else that is making you act like this? Is there something else that is making you react in this way? So like you said, self-awareness, begin to check why this is affecting you, why you go to the root. What have you been through? Why does this mean this to you? Somebody says a word and immediately it sets you off. Why? So, and how can you no longer be that person that is set off by that word?
Mm.
So that's what family systems and engineering and the things we're going to talk about in our webinar tomorrow is going to help us unravel, why is this affecting you in that way. There's something unique about you that you need to pay attention to and get it out so that you can be a better person before looking at another person. Yeah.
Absolutely sounds great. Coach Chijioke, do you have anything to add to this Better Me version on IG Live?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys have said so much already. But I'll just maybe let me just say, talk to if there are people who are single here, single, guys and ladies who are listening. So when we talk about being a better me, we're talking about you taking the spotlight, away from the other person, right, and focusing on yourself. So most times when you talk to singles, they talk about looking for the right person. But I think that what we're talking about here today is how you stop looking for the right person and how you can become the right person. That's a summary of, so because it is when two people, two right people come together to get married that they are able to create bliss from that marriage. So it's about focusing on yourself, being the right person, dealing with your traumas, dealing with your personal issues, and then ultimately taking time to learn what it means to do marriage, right? Because there are people that are healed from trauma, but they don't know what it means to do marriage. They don't read books. It is coming to all of those realizations and then the best person that you can be to the table so that your partner can, enjoy you and find fulfillment in you. That's the summary of what I think we've been talking about. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I like the way you just, summarized. You said that, taking the spotlight away from yourself, from the other person, and just like look at yourself. This is not about the other person. This is about you. And thank you so much. And this will bring me to the next question: is that how do family backgrounds influence the way we love and we relate? For me, I'm going to say that family is our first classroom because that's where we grew up. That's where our life started from. And before we ever enter into any romantic relationship, we have already learned what it looks like from the family. How conflict is handled. It is in for that family that we see that. And whether our emotions are safe or not, whether people keep promises and how our affection is expressed comes from that family. So family is our first classroom. And most of the lessons that are taught through words are absorbed through observation. So it's not just what you're saying, it is what you're doing, and those things affect our background and how we reason, how we relate, our life generally. I'm going to say that if a child grows up seeing a healthy conflict resolution in the family, they learn to understand that disagreement doesn't threaten love. But if they grow up with where conflict is avoided, shouting is normal, affection is absent, silence is going to be used as punishment. And they will unconsciously carry out these patterns into adulthood. And that's why we say that our family background influences us, but it does not have to imprison us. It doesn't have to imprison us. And that's why we say that when we are self-aware of what is happening, we will change our belief systems. And when we change it, it's going to reflect in our behavior. So I think this is just what I have to say in that question. If anybody has anything to join,
You literally summarized everything I had in my head. I was looking at you like, Coach Lara, can you stop? So that I have something to say. So I have something left to say. So I'll simply just add that, you said the family is the first classroom, and that as a person who might be going into a relationship or who's already in a relationship, you must first acknowledge that you came from a different background, and the partner, the person you will be partnering with, to raise a family, to form a nation of your own. Like both of you have come from different nations that were ruled by different ideologies. That those ideologies have now produced your thoughts. The thoughts have grown into convictions, and those convictions have become divisions for which you now decide, you now accept some things, you reject some things, you sort of you've shaped your expectations of what should be in your relationship, how someone to relate to you. And that's why you find people who say that, oh, they've lived by family traditions for so long, it has become a second nature to them. They have a family culture. That's what I want to say. They have a family culture that is what they've known for a long time, and they don't know otherwise. And some people know otherwise, but they are not ready to challenge that culture to see if they can get something better, if it needs to be reviewed. And you have people carrying patterns, family patterns, into their new nation and saying that is how we do in our family. That's why you say that some people will say, oh, in our family, we don't eat ABC. So as my wife, you cannot cook certain food for me. But what you have failed to do is to check that how did that notion or that belief get transferred from one generation to another in your family, that it has now become the culture that you are now bringing into your own new nation. And then you hear some people say, oh, in my family, the woman must first get pregnant before my father will endorse it. Have you stopped for a moment to wonder that, okay, if that is the pattern, or if that is the belief in my family, and then you are asking a lady to say that, oh, you have to get pregnant first before we can consummate or we can consolidate the relationship into a marriage. Have you for once questioned, we cannot attack culture, but we can ask questions that lead toward positive awakening. Have you stopped for once to even ask and dig deep to say, okay, what gave birth to this notion of the lady has to get pregnant first? Could it be that maybe your mom or your grandmother had a peculiar experience and that was the solution they came to? And at that point in time, when that happened, that served them because they were in a time where the women was just a baby production factory, and the men were the all and mighty, and they didn't expect more from a woman. And compare it to your current reality to see that, okay, is this really necessary? Does it automatically mean that the person I'm moving with now has limitation with childbearing? So I'm just taking this as an example of how people hold on to the notions and culture they bring from their various backgrounds. And have you stop for a moment to say that, okay, this person I'm going to be working with, or I'm currently working with, also came with her own baggages and beliefs and expectations. And you have to now get to a point where you say, let's form our own nation based on what works for us. Let's challenge and ask questions about the things we have brought from the various places to see how this is made relevant to us. Are they still necessary? And get to a point where you deal with your partner based on their own value and merit, what they are bringing to the table, and not just because somebody. So I will quickly share something. I think I shared it at a speaking on engagement, where I remember my mom sharing with me that in their own time there was this stereotype about Ekiti women being stubborn, and my father is from Ogun State, and then they felt that then there was this saying that Ijebu people cannot marry Ekiti people for one reason or another, that Ekiti people were stubborn, and then to now compound the matter, my mom was a nurse, and there was this mindset or belief at that time that nurses are pro-abortionist. They don't give birth to children, or they don't give birth to many children, or they tamper with reproduction. So imagine the combination of an Ijebu man who is not expected to marry an Ekiti woman, and now Ekiti woman who is a nurse. So they had that conflict at the beginning of their relationship, where my dad people automatically felt, oh, she was not the right partner for him. But somewhere along the line, I don't know how he navigated that. They got married, and of course, my mom had 5 of us. So that stereotype of a nurse not giving birth to many children, as it was expected at that time in the baby boomers era, was negated. So I am just saying that, coming from different backgrounds require that you meet in the middle, form your own family vision, create your own nation and the government system that works for you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely right. I love the way you just put it down. Forming your own nation is very important. Coach Grace, do you have anything to say in relation to this?
Well, yeah, just to add to that, because the question is about how our family backgrounds influence the way we love and relate to people. You know, when you are in a family and you've seen what you have seen, that's what you know. Sometimes you at the back of your mind, you tell yourself, no, this is not right. For example, if it's something that is not right, maybe where there is physical abuse or mental abuse, there's something, even if you're a child, you know that this can't be right, this can't be right. And you find people say to themselves, I will never do this. I will never be in this kind of relationship, or I'll never. But they find out that they grow up, they are in relationships, and they start doing the same things that they said they would never do. And it's because of, we can't sweep some things under the carpet. You can't just say, I will never do that. Or if you don't sit down and properly address it, properly go through some therapy maybe, and sometimes go through, so someone sits with you and identify all those triggers and all those things. Why you see somebody who grew up in a house where the mom is always being beaten, and they say, I can never marry somebody that beats me, but they end up dating people like that. So it's because of those backgrounds, and we can't just say, oh, I'm just going to move on. you have to sit back. That's why we have such programs like this, such invitations like this, such trainings like this, to help you, go through your those, because those things, no matter how you want to sweep them under the carpet, they are significant to your life. They are significant. They did something to your psyche. They did something to you, and we call them significant emotional experiences. Sometimes, just being slapped at home, for example, you or being beaten, you as a child being beaten badly, it did something to you. I sat with someone who is, I mean, well established in her career, and we're just talking about her childhood, just a friendly chat. I was meeting her for the first time, and she mentioned an experience where her father, or was it her mother, her father really beat her up, flogged her. She had scars on her back. And just at that point, I saw the pain. This years ago. But the pain was still visible. The tears were almost welling up. You could see that she was still carrying that pain. So these things still affect us, and it affects the way we relate to our spouses, even in our own families. You see a woman that was badly, had that experience, and she can grow up and say, I will never be, I will not be unkind to my children, but she's the person that is throwing shoes, throwing bottles, throwing anything, at the least provocation. It affects us. How we were brought up, how our family background, it does affect us. And when you find yourself doing such things, it's time to sit down. Don't say it's, in our culture, we say it's from the village, village people, it's not village people. It's you that need to sit down, with a trained counselor, a trained therapist, and go through those things that you have swept under the carpet, so that you can properly heal and be a better person to give better to your relationships. Thank you.
Absolutely. Be a better person to give better things to your relationship. Absolutely love that version. Coach Chijioke, do you have anything to add to this?
So I think you guys are just, you you guys have said almost everything that needs to be said, and I think this session has been very exhaustive. If you've been following, you can actually agree with me that it's been exhaustive. We've touched almost every area, and answered all the questions the way we should. But I'll just say that, uh, of course, I think it was Tomiwa that talked about the family being. I think she talked about family being the smallest nation, on earth. It's the smallest and is the most influential nation on earth. So the best way to understand the family is to look at how nations operate. For example, a nation like Nigeria, Nigeria is, every nation has its culture, sets of values. So when you see an average Nigerian, there's a way we think, there's a way we behave. The same thing can be applied to the family. Every family has sets of cultures, sets of values, and all the things they uphold. And every person who is a member of that family would almost or most likely exhibit those values, and manifest those cultures. Yeah, so that's how influential families are. It's so powerful that it defines everything. So every human being is born like a clean slate. We're just born and there's nothing. There's nothing. We don't know anything. We've not become anything. It is what family says we are that we are. So you come into a family and you are told that you are a Christian. You grow up being a Christian. Most of us are Christians today because we're born into Christian homes, not because not because any miracle happened anywhere, and that's just the truth. So we grew up as Christians, and people who are born into Muslim grew up as Muslims, and they are Muslims, practicing Muslims till date. And then you see people fighting about religion as if you even know the origin of it, or you were there when it started. No, it was something that was written. So everything we are, gender roles, for example. So you see people born into homes, and then into a home where they're told that a man is a lady should be the one in the kitchen, while the boy should be out there playing football and waiting for food to be ready so they can eat. And then if a child grows up in that kind of environment, gets married, and maybe his family dynamics, um, you know, he maybe gets married to a woman who is busy, who works 9 to 5, and then maybe he works from home, and then you find that kind of man waiting at home for the woman to come back, and then make food for him, and then when you ask him, he tells you, no, I'm a man, I shouldn't go into the kitchen. A man's place is not in the kitchen. Kitchen is everything that, when it comes to doing the dishes, cooking, is a woman that should do that. So when you see a man manifesting that, and then you want to find out why, you drill down, you realize that it has a lot to do with, the scriptings that were done, in the family where that person came from. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that we are all a reflection of our families and the kind of family dynamics that we were exposed to. Yeah, except at a point, some of us, for example, someone like me, I like to talk about this because I have all kind of experience, with regards to this. But then at some point in my life, I started going for interventions, going for counseling, seeking for help. So you see me today, I don't look like where I'm coming from, But most of us are not like that. No matter how much we go on to do big things, do great things with our careers. You see all of those softwares, all of those scriptings, they are still there. So you can find somebody who is a very big CEO doing big things out in society, but the person comes back home and the person is turn on the flesh of their spouse. Why? Because they've not dealt with some of the scriptings. They've not uninstalled some of the softwares that were installed at their childhood. So that's why we're bringing this to everyone. So if you're watching this, you're listening to this, and you want to know how to re-engineer yourself, you want to know how to become the best version of yourself, or a better version of yourself, then the Better Me, conference is there for you. So make sure you join us tomorrow, so we can, all learn together, and so you can become a better you. Thank you.
Okay. Please, if I may add, Coach Lara, before you go on, I really want to say two things that are important from the way we're talking. We've said so much in relation to past experiences, but coming from the angle, from someone who is particular about building the future humans, which is the children. If not for any reason, today I want to encourage everyone who is watching this or who will eventually watch that. We've talked so much about the past conditioning that is now governing us, and we are now in our own relationship. And if not for any reason, at least for the sake of now the children who you would take care of or who you are currently raising, you need to do right by them and ensure that the operating system that you are using in your family now serves them right, because you are actually producing the next family. You are producing the humans who will be the next level or next category of family. So you have to ensure that you are an ancestor who is producing a human that will better a better society. So that is so important. And I also wanted to add that, when we've been talking about our past experiences, our past conditioning, more like from the position of, I don't want to say negatively, but, maybe from a position of the things we need to correct. There are people who may be watching this who will say that, no, my own family wasn't like any of the things that you are talking about today. We are role model families, everything is prim and proper, everything is fine, I don't need to make any change. My charge to you is that what is good can become better. What is better can become best. The conditioning, and there are people who would never audit their current operating system because of huge reverence that they have for their parents. There are people who have grown up in such families who believe that, oh, my parents did so much that if I deviate from any of the things, family patterns or traditions that they've laid down, it will be as if I'm sabotaging our family traditions or I'm disrespecting them, and they continue to hold on to things out of honor and respect for their parents. My charge is to say, still take a deeper look. There might still be an area or two that you can improve on. nobody can, you may not say that we can say nobody can attain 100% wholesomeness, but you can just move to the closest point possible of wholesomeness.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely love what you said. So the point that I can pick from this is that we are a reflection of our families, and there are a lot of softwares that has been instilled in us that we may have to kind of, reinstall or uninstall in our life. So, and I also like what you said that, our past conditions can be governing us. So we sometimes need to do some auditing in our current operating systems. That is so, so important. So I'll just, without wasting much time, I'll go to the next question then. Why do couples struggle to communicate? No, sorry. Is trying to change your spouse or partner really the solution to a better me, or could it be part of the problem?
Okay.
Is trying to change your spouse or partner really the solution, or could it be part of the problem?
Yes. Let me just go first quickly. So I think it's an age-old issue, couples, this same issue keeps resurfacing. People want to say, oh, my spouse or my partner is not doing this, why is he not doing that? And most times the person, ends up being frustrated because it's not happening as they would want it to happen. So really, I know people encourage. So of course, there are some things that are like non-negotiable. For example, violence. Towards a partner, you can't say, "Oh, I have to change myself before the person can stop hitting me." Things like that are non-negotiable. You take yourself out of the life-threatening situations. Or we're talking of, so in the context of maybe behavioral changes, character changes, or different things, maybe the way you do things, or you put the toothpaste from the top, the other one from the bottom, or you can't cook, like the example Coach Chijioke gave. You go to work, you come back, and you're too tired to cook, and things like that. So there are, like what we have been saying, sometimes maybe you've talked and it's not working or whatever. And now what were the angle, there are different ways. This is not exhaustive, so let me put that caveat out there. This is not exhaustive. Don't say, oh, Coach Tomiwa said you have to do this, and then you go and run with it. This is just a quick chat, and we cannot cover everything. Most times, to deal with particular issues, you need a one-on-one session. So, but generally speaking, what we're talking about, better me, is saying, okay, look at yourself. Why is this thing affecting you? For example, the word somebody says, oh, you are too slow. A partner says to you, you're too slow. And it's like, what do you mean? That's an insult. That person is like, well, I'm not insulting you. I say, stop, don't tell me that anymore. I don't want to hear that. Oh, you must be ready to come downstairs. Let's go out 5 minutes before the time. For example, my husband, for our wedding, he sent someone to the house to make sure I was out early, for example, because he is it's very timely, and I'm the person that will say, 5 minutes late is nothing bad, So in such situations, and you are trying to change the person, oh, I'm trying to change, so I'm trying to bring examples of what sometimes you try to change somebody and it's not working. So what are we saying? That can only be that can contribute to the problem, because people feel threatened when it's as if you want to change their person. is their personality, is who they know. This is the person they've grown up with. This is their identity. This is what they know. And you want, because you are now in a relationship with me, you want to change me. I know this, there's so much talk about super be yourself, do whatever makes you happy, and all that has come out. So people feel threatened when you point out, when you try to point out, this is wrong, this can you stop? So there's something about human nature that wants to guard how they are, and sometimes it adds to the problem. So what we're saying is, sometimes find a way to switch it. Find a way to switch it, and that may be a better solution, in things like that. So find a way to switch it. Sometimes your partner pressing the toothpaste at the top is not hurting you, but it's affecting you in a way. You want that person to make sure that they press it. So why not revisit it? Why is it affecting you? Why is this toothpaste being pressed in the middle and it's looking so messed up to your eyes? Why is it affecting you? Will you be able to reprogram your mind so that it doesn't affect you? So for me, for example, one of the things I did in my home, when we talk about putting the toilet seat up or down, that's another big issue. So for me, what I did personally, I said, well, it's okay. I'm going to be the designated putting the toilet seat down. I'm going to be the designated person. So I take it as it's okay. I'm going to add it to my job role. I'm the person that put the toilet seat down. And honestly, it did something to my brain. From that moment, I was no longer upset about it, because that's me changing my perspective, changing because it's not hurting me. Is it my spouse or whoever in the house, did not say, I'm going to go and upset Grace today, put all the toilets on. So the moment I said to myself, okay, no, this, I'm spending too much energy on this matter, and they try, put it on, they try. I think that they're trying, but it's not fast enough. So I just told myself, look, you know what? I'm going to give myself that rule. Anywhere I see the toilet seat up is my job. I'm going to put it down. And just that little thing did a switch in my brain, and it never upsets me. So sometimes just shouting, you put the toilet seat up again. Sometimes just, now you're raising your voice at me, you're shouting at me. It just makes it worse sometimes.
So you know what? I'm just going to smile at myself, because let me tell you something. Coach Chijioke, you will know very well as a man. This one, so for so many years, we've always used the normal toothbrush at home. So when you're brushing, it doesn't spill on the glass in front of you. So over the years, we've been using electric toothbrush, which the change is a bit hard for me, so I'm not really using it all the time. But for the first time, I think I remember saying to my husband, "Sweetheart," and I was like, maybe sometimes when you use the toothbrush, the thing will, if it's coming to the glass, and maybe try and be. And he said, "Oh yeah, I always try to do it. Sometimes I said, "Okay." For the first time, because I just believe that when it comes to cleaning, I'm ready to do it. Just don't stress. I don't want to stress myself, so I can relate on what you're saying. So what we're talking about is trying to change your spouse or partner really the solution, or could it be part of the problem? One of the things I would say that one of the greatest mistakes in relationship is believing that happiness begins when the other person changes. And I will say that because many of us are experts at identifying our partner's weakness while remaining blind to our own. So the problem, with trying to change someone else is often, most of the time creates resistance, because that person will just be like, what? Why? What are you doing? And all that. And rather than the transformation you really, really want. So when we talk about better me, you be better. And definitely that person is going to sit one day and say, okay, I need to kind of change. So real change, it is most, as far as I would say, it is most sustainable when we personally, internally motivated and change, and we do not enforce changes. So instead of asking that, how can I make them different? We should do something like, okay, how do I become someone who, who is better at communicating the issue? Do you understand? Who listens better and who forgives and who responds really better? Because a lot of the times when we talk about, changing person, we're talking about relationship, healthiness, and all that. And it always has to be with accountability, we know. It always has to be with boundaries, we know. But even in some situations, we still are responsible for our own responses, our own growth, and our own choices. So we make decisions. Like I make decision that I will clean. I will not even complain because it's not even an issue to me. It doesn't even affect in a longer or in a bigger scheme, it doesn't affect my relationship. So this is my own self-auditing my operating systems and saying that the elders relationship, is made up of two people who are committed to personal growth, and that is becoming a better me. Do you understand? Personally, say I want to be better. So in my own understanding, if you want to change somebody, you will try. You will really, really try.
Okay.
God will help you.
Okay, so my own disposition to that, well, it's not totally variant from what we said, but my own charge is that if you're trying to change your spouse or your partner, it's worth a try, but start with yourself first, which is what we've all been saying all along. But your ability to come to that resolution that I'm starting with myself shows that you are humble enough to embrace your human imperfections. And I believe that at times we can step into a place of role modeling. When we say role modeling, it's not only for someone who is older to a younger person. Then as you begin to make effort, so just as you've said now, you are able to sit down, take stock and identify the areas of personal growth that you need to, the gaps that you need to fill. Can make up your mind and say, okay, I have number 1 to 5 to tackle, to improve and, to become a better person at. Then you start with number 1. I believe that in your quest to change your partner or your spouse, when you start with yourself first and you begin to communicate your progress to them, it has a way of, subconsciously putting them, in a position of wanting to take responsibility. So you don't force them. You are just in that position where as you continue on your transformation journey, you carry them along. And then you come to a point where you are able to sell the vision of a better us to them by saying, this is how far I have come. Imagine if you are also able to do 1, 2, 3. This is the likely result that we would have. So being able to communicate appropriately and sell the vision of a better us through mutual personal growth might be the beginning of that solution to changing your partner. But if you want to stay on your high horse and say, oh, I have to tell you to do this, I have to tell you to do that, then it's like beating a dead horse. Start with yourself. So let me just do a recap. Start with yourself. As you make progress, share your progress with them so that it starts to influence or motivate them towards their own convictions to change. And then sell a vision of a better us if both of you commit to personal growth.
Absolutely. We have few minutes. We're just going to quickly go through the last questions and just briefly, and so that because Instagram will log us up, I'm not sure if they will log us up as
I
1 hour.
think maybe we can leave that last
Yeah,
question
yeah.
and just
Put
conclude.
our overall. And so tomorrow, we are going to be having the bigger part of this better me. And we will want you to join us so that you have more insights, more knowledge, more discussion, more chats, more conversation of becoming a better self of yourself, version of yourself. And then, Coach Tomiwa, can you give us more information about tomorrow's program, please?
Yeah, so tomorrow's webinar is happening at 10 a.m. Nigerian time. I think that should be about 8 a.m. your time. And we're just going to spend a little more time tackling different aspects of how you can be a better mix of the family systems approach. Like we said, we're all practitioners of the family life and family systems engineering program, and then there are ways that we can become a better person. So we are going to look a little bit deeper. It's not a webinar that will take a lot of time because we are also mindful that Saturdays in the morning, everybody wants to get up and go about their businesses. But if you can spare about 2 hours tomorrow morning, I'm sure that you are going to be better off. Some of the things we'll be sharing tomorrow are things that some people pay some of us for, but we are bringing snippets of them so that as you gain more insight and more understanding, and if you need help in any way, and if you would also come to a point where you realize that, oh, you may need to be signing up for family systems engineering program for you to function better in the family space. So please join us. You can check any of our pages for how to join the webinar. We have a few slots left before we close the link later this evening. So please avail yourself of that opportunity.
And thank you so much. In rounding up, I'll just say that as you have heard today, relationships are not transformed just only by good intentions alone. They are transformed when we personally become willing to examine ourselves and be a better person. Join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Nigerian West African time. Join us, the four of us. We are going to be analyzing this and speaking in a broader term about this. Thank you so much for joining, and God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend, and then just relax, enjoy yourself. Nothing. It's Friday. It's always the best day of the week for each and every one of us. Coach, I can see you laughing.
I even envy you. You are just starting your day over there. Me, almost the whole of my Friday has almost finished.
Ah, that's true. Different natures I will talk about. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we'll
you.
join
Thank
again
you, everyone
tomorrow.
that
Yeah, have a
joined.
wonderful, and everybody that has joined, I'm just going to say their names now because I have to recognize them. And Ibidun from UK, thank you so much for joining. Official Feishola, thank you. Adeleye Ebinzinza, thank you. Perfect Interiors, thank you. Adaji Martha, thank you. Douglas, sorry, thank you. Odeniro, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Naomi, thank you. Buski, thank you so much. Naomi, thank you. Osho Bukola, thank you. Rehab Bookers, thank you. Folau, thank you, everyone that has joined. We pray that this day shall be a wonderful day for you. God bless and
And
enjoy
please
yourself.
share
And
this
Is there a way
live
also
you
share
can
this.
share
session.
the
Yes, 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 yes.
link, registration link in
Share.
the comment
Yes,
section?
yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much. God bless you. Ife,
Bye,
thank you.
everyone.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye.